Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. Alright, so today we're going to talk about faces of evil. So this video's purpose is to get you to begin to see someone and notice the physical features in someone's face, and especially in their eyes, that will basically be like the biggest red flag of all red flags. It will tip you off like, hey, this person is a narcissist. Now, before I get into the very specifics, I am going to show you some images, but I want to share something that happened to me when my sister gave birth to one of my nephews. It's actually something I share with all my male clients when it comes to understanding what's going on between the left brain, the right brain, the spirit world, etc. Because it'll help you understand how to see a narcissist. So one of the reasons why my sister had me attend the birth is because my family's always known me to be a very, very spiritual person. Although they hated me because of it, on the other hand, when it came down to death and birth and stuff like that, they were like, we want you there, because they feel a sense of protection. So I don't remember if it was which nephew it was that was born, but I remember their father was going, so they gave birth, cleaned up the baby, they brought the baby back in the room, and they put it in this little, I guess like incubator thing, something like that. It was kind of lifted up about, about chest height, and me and the father were looking at the baby, and I, out of nowhere, go, dude, name the baby after me. And he goes, Michael, shut up. And I'm like, what? And my sister's, Michael, he's concentrating. I'm like, what? Well, he was actually, I don't even know if my brother-in-law believes in God, but he was beyond a shadow of doubt. Like, he was tuning in and like was waiting for a message, and he was really, really focusing in. And all of a sudden, I saw this quick light from up above drop down into the baby. And the minute it went to the baby, he goes, and he named him Nicholas. So it was Nicholas. He was Nicholas. So I turned around and looked at my sister, and I said, did you see that? And she goes, yeah, like the light that dropped down. I'm like, yeah. So here's what it is. That is literally the spirit that went into the physical baby's body. And at the time, I can't remember the name of the verse right now, but there's a verse in the Bible that talks about how our body is basically now I'm totally paraphrasing. I cannot remember verbatim. If I can find it, I'll look for it, but I just right now can't. But it basically says, the spirit comes into the body, and the body is basically the vehicle which the spirit gets around in. So the split second that this light dropped down into the baby, my brother-in-law literally snaps his finger and names the child. And I looked at him like, what the fuck? Here's the funny thing. He didn't even see the light. It was like an automatic thing. So I believe it was before the time the child was born, or it was just after. I was doing level 1 Reiki. I was getting certified and trained in level 1 Reiki healing. And when I was on the table, they were doing an attunement on me. Okay, it was I don't know, it was like the 4th or 5th attunement. I can't remember which one it was, maybe 6th. And there was this picture on the wall, pretty big picture, and it was of this, it was like there was like a big circle, and then in the middle there was this woman like jogging in the desert or somewhere, and I think it was probably an advertisement for Nike or something like that. And I remember just all of a sudden I went, ah, and the practitioner goes, what? I go, I get what that picture's saying. And he goes, what? Just like a shoe commercial. I'm like, no. It's like, this is the way angels look at us. It's like they're looking through this circle, through this scope, and we're out here in the real world, in the 3D, the 5 senses world. So it's like they're looking through something and leaning forward to kind of get an idea and to see what we're doing and what it's like being here. Well, let me tell you something, angels. Lately, it's kind of sucked. Just kidding. So one of the things that I teach my clients, especially my male clients, is okay. So the number one goal when men take my course, Cracked Female Code. And this absolutely applies to what this video is about, okay? And it's the reason why I know. See, The reason why you guys come to my videos and you're like, man, that made a lot of sense. You know what? I've heard that 100 times and I did not know that. I didn't understand what it meant. Blah, blah, blah. The way, I mean, even very recently, I've had so many people compliment me on my videos saying, man, the way you explain things, the way you break it down, I finally understand what the phrases people were throwing at me and I didn't understand back then. The reason why you are understanding this stuff is because of my expertise and my background in what I call male to female communication. In other words, left brain, the male brain, to right brain communication. So here's the deal. Here's what happens. So, okay, inside your flesh, inside your human body, okay, now here's another thing. If you haven't figured out, we literally hijacked this body. It's like take this little animal we're looking at. That's a little, not a weasel, but it's a honey badger. Imagine a spirit went into the honey badger and you took over, okay? So we are spirits inside this vehicle, going, looking at the world, experiencing, seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling, tasting the world. Because here's the thing the Bible says. Angels are jealous of mankind, and the reason being is because we can see, we can hear, we can feel, we can smell, we can taste. We are experiencing life. Here's the thing that you don't know about angels. They don't feel, they don't hear, there's a lot of things that angels don't experience that we do, and this is why angels are jealous of mankind. See, the experience that we're going through, the reason why we can hear, see, feel, smell, and taste is because we have something called contrast. If you are so pure, you can't you can't taste, you can't smell, you have to have contrast, something to reflect it back off of, okay? Angels are so pure that they don't even know they exist. In fact, a lot of angels are like, they're there, but they're so pure that they're at oneness, and without some kind of duality, something to go. It's something we call an NLP integration, because when you have so many split parts, you kind of go nuts. So you want to heal and integrate each part, and then they begin to connect with the whole and become one with the whole. If you can integrate all the parts and now you are just one whole being, that's purity. And when you have purity, you can't experience the world. Now, watch this. So what happens is angels get really excited, or our spirits do. And what we do is we ram right up into our forehead, into our eyes, and we're looking at the world, and we're going fast, and we're looking at everything. It's like we're trying to get everything out of life, and we get so excited. Have you ever seen a little child when they see like a little bird they'd never seen before, a lizard, like wow, and there's no thinking going on. They're just purely driven to go after that thing because they want to see what it is. So here's what happens. You get these men that like women, okay? And so, that was a funny way to say it. So what happens is they get excited and they ram up into the forehead. They become very visual. And what happens is all that energy gets rammed into their eyeballs and their forehead. Now there's an exercise that I taught on this channel on YouTube where I teach you how to drop back, drop down, and drop that spirit, that energy of your spirit down into your body and let it expand to open. Because here's the thing, is your spirit, maybe not you guys, I think a lot of empaths have probably opened up and didn't even realize that you have. But when people ram themselves up into their forehead and their eyes, they are disconnecting from their five senses. Okay, they are only using their visual sense, let's say. So the thing is, like, you have feelings in your heart area, your chest area, and your belly area. And a lot of people that ram into their forehead, into their eyeballs, they create so much pressure that there's massive pain there. But they've been there for so long that they don't know. They're like, what are you talking about? So number one, what happens is they forgot about all the other senses, the five senses. Not just see, but hear, feel, smell, and taste, and just experience, literally feel life, which is your entire body. So they tend to become extremely highly visual beings, and what's called visual external. They don't even have a visual internal at all anymore. So here's my point. These people, these beings, these narcissists, these creatures, they ram their energy up in their eyeballs, and their eyeballs literally bulge out. Now here's the deal. I knew two people at the time. I didn't really know what a narcissist was. But there was two people that I knew. They were both guys. They could literally bulge their freaking right eyeball out, because the right eye is the external eye, and that's the push energy one, okay? So it really freaked me out. And this other person that I hadn't seen since high school, he did it one day. I just randomly bumped into him at a coffee shop. I said, hey, man, I just walked up. Are you so-and-so? He goes, yeah. He goes, who? And he remembered me, and we had a great conversation. But he started doing this eyeball thing, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck, dude? So one of the things I'll ask people before we do the exercise, or this is actually the first step, is, hey, just notice where you are in your body. So I have them calm down, take a deep breath. And I say, go ahead and notice where you're at inside your body. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, just quiet your mind and just notice. Just kind of sense your entire body. And they always get it wrong. And then I'll say, do you feel a lot of pressure in the back of your eyes, maybe your forehead? And they're like, oh my God, I never noticed that before. So like, holy shit, it's like they freaking like a sharp pain. And then they will usually say, that's been that way my whole life, and I completely forgot about it. It's like I was ignoring it, even though I was in pain. So a lot of times, narcissists will get these freaking like sharp pains behind their eye or in their forehead. So one of the things that happens is when you are jamming your energy right into your eyes and your forehead, and you're really focused, or very, very left brain, it causes you to talk in a very nasal way, because all the muscles and everything becomes tight up there, and you don't breathe deep. Your chest and your body tighten up, your solar plexus, the diaphragm tightens up, so you can't breathe deep. And it causes you to talk in kind of a whiny, irritating voice. I call it nasalities, even though that's not a proper word. That's just a word I use. And so it makes everything tight. It's like you're talking down a tube. And when you're very left brain, it's like you're looking down a tube. So the reason why I specialize in this, not knowing this had anything to do with narcissist abuse at the time, is I teach people how to come out of this, okay? To reconnect with your emotions and feelings. For most men, it works great. It takes a couple days, and maybe 3 or 4 days. You got to practice it, and we condition it in over and over for hours a day. Most of them will pop open to consciousness, and they'll be like, well, what the hell is this? I go, this is your right brain. They're like, holy shit, this is amazing. But then especially it started about 4 years ago, maybe 5. Now, if you notice, this is when narcissists kind of came out of the darkness, or I don't know how to say it, when all of a sudden everyone started noticing. I got one client about 5 years ago, maybe a little bit more, who just couldn't pop up. Not only is it that they couldn't pop open, they didn't want to pop up open. They didn't want to do the damn exercises. So then I had a friend who had a daughter who just didn't have any social skills. She was very intrusive. Now here's the thing about when you're very left brain, it's push energy. So you lean forward when you're talking to people. Now men do this a lot. Very left brain people, they lean forward, they invade people's space, and they interrupt people and all kinds of stuff. So he had asked me, he goes, hey, do you think you could help her? I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. See, when you go into the right brain, it's like you're taking a step back and you're seeing the bigger picture, and you can see when people's arms are crossed, like saying back off, all these subtle but really not subtle cues. Their faces look pissed off. But when you're far in your left brain, you can't read people's facial expressions. You don't even notice that their arms are crossed. You don't even notice that they took a step back, took another step. Have you ever had one of those people, you're talking to them and they get right in your face, so you're forced to take a step back, then they step forward and you're like, what the fuck? And you step back again, they do it again, and literally you could go halfway across the room, go, dude, back off, give me space. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, we were way over there, and I'd take 10 steps back. Can you just... And here's the thing, they can't. They just have to lean forward into your space. Again, it's because they had that, the angels are looking through that hole, and when they came down into your body, their spirit, or your spirit, for these people, they push, and that's a very demonic thing. Now, there's a point in the Bible where Jesus says, get behind thee, Satan, to one of his apostles, and it literally means to turn this around and drop it down inside. There's a technique that I've been teaching for decades on how to do that. One day I went, oh my God, this is what Jesus meant when he told his apostle, get behind thee, Satan. Because when you flip this around, it opens wide open, and your pupils pull apart, and they spread out, and thus now you're in your right brain. So here's a page from the manual of my course for men in the dating relationship course to save your marriage, meet the girl you dream, etc. It's all about left and right brain communication. The right brain's more about the bigger picture, the vague and abstract language. Literally, it's the vague and abstract language. It's asking like, for what purpose, or what's your purpose, or what's a deeper meaning. Whereas the left brain is specific in detail. If you notice, narcissists are very specific in detail and nitpick, and it's like at the very point, right? So and I'm going to show you a picture of, actually, I'm going to show you one right now. Now, if you look at her eyes, notice how the eyes themselves are pulled together and how the pupils are small, like they're aiming at a target. So if you notice the pupils come together, like a laser beam comes out of each of them and then meets at a point, just like a triangle, like we see right here, okay? So when you go far in your left brain, it's like your two pupils. It's like you're aiming at a gun, or maybe a bow and arrow, you're aiming at the red bullseye right in the middle of the target. Okay, so your two eyes are laser beams that go out of your eyes, and they come together at a point, just like we have here with the upside down triangle. And when Jesus said, "Get behind thee, Satan," there's a technique where I teach you to bring the tip into your head and down into your body. So now, and then I have you drop it down into the earth, and that grounds you emotionally. And it opens you up to the right brain. So now, the tip as it is in this image is down there, and it opens wide open. So now your pupils pull apart, and the pupils dilate a little bit bigger, and now you're seeing the bigger picture. This is an actual technique that I teach in my course to help people to open up and to become emotionally grounded. So what happened was Jesus was announcing like, hey, they're going to come and get me, they're going to beat me, and they're going to kill me, they're going to hang me on the cross. And I always forget, Apostle Peter or Paul or whatever, one of them said, "No, Jesus, I will never let them do that to you." And it was a very egotistical, arrogant, kind of thing. Like, "I will never let them do this to you." And he was the very one that turned on Jesus. He was the one who went behind his back and set him up so the centurions could capture him. So here's the deal. Jesus literally said to him, "Get behind thee, Satan." And I remember as a kid, even in my 20s, going, why would Jesus say that? He was saying he was going to protect him, and he would die before he let them do this to him. And then one day in class, I was teaching a client of mine how to reverse this external V, because it turns women off. All right, women, you know what I'm talking about. You know how like how men will laser beam you, like lean forward, and just penetrate into your eyeball, like they're poking you, or they look across the room and they like laser beam your butt or your body, and it's like, oh Jesus, it's kind of creepy. So I teach men how to reverse this, to open up to just receive, okay, instead of being penetrating, instead of being invasive, which is rude and makes you feel uncomfortable. So one day when I was teaching this client, I was like, oh my God, this is what Jesus meant when he said, "Get behind thee, Satan." So you take the point and you reverse it and you bring it down inside. Because when you're in that point, when you're in the far, far left brain, it actually shifts you down to your reptilian brain, which is the evil brain, which is the kill or be killed brain. And it's also the predator brain, which is satanic. See, the right brain's the open brain. It's the creative, emotional, spiritual brain. It's literally the open door to spirit, to God. So that's how you access God. Well, imagine if you not only go far in the left brain, but drop down into your reptilian brain. That's the root brain. That's how you access, the not good one, the evil one. So now let's look at some people's eyes. And one we already had where you just saw where her pupils would come together. So basically, essentially, because they're so focused, and it's like they're looking down a microscope, their pupils come together a few millimeters, and the pupils tend to get smaller. And another thing, look in this girl's in her eyes. The pressure behind her eyes is bulging her eyes out. By the way, the guy on the left is a narcissist abuse coach. He's actually a really good guy, and I don't remember his name right now. I wish I did, because I'd refer his channel. He's actually pretty good. So basically, we're going to wrap this video up. I mean, take a look at their eyes. It's like their eyes are bulging out. All right, so let's go on to the next one. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to tell you, all of these people on here, this right here, they're on a talk show in Australia, and they're openly talking about being a narcissist. Okay, it's like, if you really understand narcissist, if you listen to her talk on the show, you'd be like, man, she's just like saying one thing and doing the complete opposite. So, but I think it's good that people can take a good look. Now look at their eyes, and notice how their faces kind of scrunch up. It's like they're looking down the tube. Their mouth becomes what I call tubular. Their eyes become tubular. Their nose, the facial muscles begin to tighten. Now look at all these people. Look at his mouth. Look at his eyes. It's like everything tights down into a tube, like a narrow tube, and they begin to sound like they're talking down a tube. Like hold your nose closed, like with your thumb and your finger, and they tend to talk like this. And this is how this guy talks. He's an attorney, by the way. Very open about being a narcissist. I think he said, I forget why he had that on his nose. I think he broke his nose. Well, I'm sure he broke his nose, but I don't remember how. I don't know if someone punched him or what, but something happened. And here we have another one. Now, notice how his lips are pursed and the cheeks are kind of tight and pulled together, okay? And then look at his eyes. Like, they're like, okay, here's another thing. They look, okay, it's like the laser beam is going out. Where a right brain person, your pupils open, you pull apart and they dilate open, and the image is coming to you. You're receiving it, okay? Like the open V, or like a funnel, like you're receiving. So these people are looking out. That's why that you call that narcissist smirk. It looks so evil. It's because they're like looking. It's like they're okay. It's like they're hiding behind their own face mask, but they're leering outside. You ever heard that sideways glance? Like they're kind of that's the smirk. Like they're looking to see if you caught them, and they're like they kind of close their eyes a little bit, and they're like looking out of the corner of their eye, like are they? They're trying to see if you can see them. So in their own world, like I'm hiding, like you're not hiding. It's like you're making it obvious. Like, what are you doing? Like, well, I'm acting like I'm hiding behind a bush. Like, dude, there's no bush. But that's the look they get in their eye. And then this is the same girl again. Oh, by the way, in the talk show, she openly, her boyfriend was there, who was an empath, or he wasn't a narcissist, so he was not a narcissist. I don't remember. I think he was an empath. But here's the thing you guys have to understand: if you're in a relationship with a narcissist and they openly admit it, they feel and believe that, well, if I hurt you, well, it's your own fault. You knew I was a narcissist. It's not like I hid it from you. So this is what we call hiding in plain sight. It's like, well, I'm going to abuse the crap out of you, and it's not my fault. You knew what you were dealing with. So if you're in a relationship with a narcissist and they've openly admitted it to you, they're not being nice. You're going, oh God, they're being so honest. Yeah, so they can tear you to shreds and then blame you for it. Run. Get away. The minute someone tells you they're a narcissist, here's one of the newer ones. They'll say, well, I'm not a narcissist or NPD, but I was diagnosed with narcissistic traits. Yeah, meaning you're a narcissist. See, what is narcissistic traits? Well, they talk behind your back. They put poison in your food. They drug you. They hurt you. They belittle you. They love bomb. They do everything a narcissist does, but for some reason, well, they're just, have narcissistic traits. Like, I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, they're a narcissist. All right, so here's another lady. She admits she has, I think this is oh God, I forget the Instagram channel. I'm not sure what this is. But she's a narcissist. Now, again, look at her eyes like she's looking out. Almost like she's grinning at you, like hiding behind, okay? Hopefully you can see it well enough now. Alright, now this one, believe it or not, I found in the comments in the last 3-4 days ago. So 2 people actually had this as their image for their YouTube channel. I just thought, what the hell? One of them was absolutely narcissist. The other one I don't think is, he was actually pretty cool. The other one I actually got rid of off the channel because the comments they were making to other people, which shows, I'm not going to get into that. So again, look at this. This is evil, demonic. Okay, notice how tight the face is, the muscles around the nose, like everything gets tight. When you go in the right brain, your muscles relax. That's why you get like a softer look. So when you go into your left brain, you become logical, and everything becomes pointy and angular, like this face. Look at everything from the lips to the chin to the nose. It's because the muscles are tight. Everything becomes mechanical. The left brain is known as the mechanical brain. The right brain is known as the natural brain. So when you're in your right brain, everything relaxes, the muscles stop flexing. Because look, even though he's smiling, it's like his face is flexing, like he's lifting weights. And this tightness is what causes narcissists to have a mask-like look on their face, because they're trying to hold their face and have this perfect look and this perfect smile. So they could be in an absolute full rage at you, and they're just going to smile like, hi, how's it going? Like they're holding it in, yeah. Or it could be they have a lot of anxiety, and they're just smiling like, yeah, how's it going? Like they're putting on this fake smile, like, yeah, man. Okay, so when you go further in your left brain and your control, see the left brain is the control brain. The further you go into the left brain, the more you try to control people, which causes a slave master-like mentality. It is what caused people to be slave masters. See, when you go further into the left brain, the further you go, the more you disconnect from your right brain. Now, the right brain is the compassionate brain. It's the emotional processor, which means it's about love and compassion and understanding. Narcissists don't have love understanding, okay? They have logical, mechanical understanding, like a machine. And that's how they view people, as you're just a robot for me to fuck with and to screw with. And they don't care about your feelings. It's like they can't sense other people's feelings. So the further you go into the left brain, the more you disconnect from the right brain. The right brain is the empathic brain. The left brain is the mechanical brain. So here's the deal. A lot of men are very left brain. In fact, a lot of people are becoming more and more left brain because of computers. Everything is digital, and the left brain is the digital brain. Your computer, your cell phone, everything, even your microwave is digital now. Everything has a computer. And this is causing humans to use their left brain more and more, to the extent that we are disconnecting literally from our humanity. Have you noticed that the world is on fire right now, where people are just breaking into stores, stealing, and doing anything and everything? They don't care. It's because they're like, well, I want that, so I'm going to go take it. They're disconnected from their emotional, empathic brain. Like, well, what about other people? Like, they don't think about that. They don't have a sense of feeling about other people. It's just not there. I mean, it's there, but they're not accessing it. Now, just because someone is left-brain person, very analytical, it does not mean that they're a narcissist. Okay, I know a lot of people are scientists and very left-brain people, but they don't go around being a predator. Remember, that's your lower reptilian brain. Narcissists tend to be extremely left-brain because that's the connection to the lower brain. All right. So the predator system is in the lower reptilian brain. So again, just because someone is left brain analytical, logical, it does not mean they're narcissist. I mean, are they going around talking shit about people? Do they do triangulation? Do they do love bombing? Do they do the devaluing stage? Do they, do all that stuff, the hoovering stage, etc.? No. So they're not a narcissist. It just means they're stuck in their left brain, and it would behoove them to learn how to open up to their right brain, because the right brain is the social brain. It's how you receive and give love, express love, and it's the social brain, so you can have fun and get along with other people. Anxiety comes from being too far into your left brain, because you're looking at every little detail. So anything that could be perceived as wrong, oh my god, you flip out, because it's like you think it's like the whole world, when it's like a little speck on the floor. It's not a big deal. So guess what anti-anxiety pills do? Well, they calm you down, they relax your muscles, they allow that blood to flow up into your larger human brain, as I always talk about, and thus you open up to your right brain the bigger picture, and you see the beauty of the world. And thus, anxiety goes away. Alright, for example, when I moved to the Bay Area, all I heard is how everyone's, oh, San Francisco's so beautiful, so beautiful. I'm like, really? Because I've been to San Francisco a lot, and I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of drugs everywhere. There's, especially now it's worse because there's human crap on the ground. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What's so beautiful about it? Well, here's the interesting thing. I actually live about 15 minutes away. So if I go up any hill on top of my building, I can go to the ocean side, the water side, the bay, and I can see San Francisco from a distance, and it is absolutely beautiful from a distance. Well, here's the deal. I'm seeing the bigger picture. When you go to the city, when you get out of the car and you walk down the sidewalk, you're seeing the specific details, like you're at the point of that open V, and now it may not look so beautiful. So when you look at things from a bigger picture, you tend to relax and calm down, and life becomes enjoyable again. So to say that everyone who's analytical is a narcissist is not correct. It's more on the lines of narcissists tend to be very analytical, because that's where narcissists go to pick people apart, to judge them. Oh, by the way, the left brain is the judger brain. The right brain is in the moment, in the present moment. It's just, you just see things for the way they are. There's no judgment. So if you have a problem judging people, it's because you're stuck in your left brain. And generally, people who judge other people tend to judge themselves quite harshly too. So this is why you should learn to love yourself. When you learn to love yourself and not judge yourself, all of a sudden, not only do you do it for yourself, but you go out in the world with that energy and that literally open mentality, the open V, the funnel part of it, and you just accept people. Hey, this is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. God bless you guys. I hope you got something out of this video. think it was very informative, to be quite honest with you. Remember, click subscribe, click the like button, make a comment, and I'll see you guys next video. God bless you guys.